What's up, guys? My name is Victor. Welcome to my YouTube page, which is dedicated to helping people navigate their spiritual awakening or ascension process. And this video is going to talk a little bit about this upcoming full moon we have on the 22nd of April. And also, I'm going to give you 3 practical tips for making the most of the full moon energies in general. I'll do that more so towards the end of the video. Right now, I'm going to get into some of the themes that are playing out collectively and that are kind of surfacing for people at this time. I would say the fundamental theme we're dealing with right now is real, authentic truth, and us being in a process of discovering what is actually true for us. What do we truly want? Who do we want to be? How do we want to behave? And a lot of us are coming into the realization that a lot of our desires have stemmed from ego, have stemmed from misaligned energies, things we've absorbed from other people that have created the desire for something in the first place. So we're kind of sifting through all these different paths we can take. You guys might be finding yourself confronted with like conflicting synchronicities and conflicting ideas of where you want to go, who you want to be, because some of them are misalignments. Some of them are your true self leading you towards your destination or where, your next step in life. But many of them, again, are just a product of things and energies that you absorbed from your parents, from your peers, and issues that are kind of surfacing right now. And it's a very illuminating energy because you'll get to really discover what do you really want. It'll be nice to know, because when we segregate ourselves off and splinter our consciousness off into multiple conflicting directions, it creates stress and anxiety and discord within our body. And then we can't be happy in the moment. Then our moment is kind of screwed up. Our moment is misaligned. And if our present moment is not in harmony, then whatever we want, either direction, is not going to happen anyway. So just be aware of your synchronicities, perhaps not necessarily guiding you somewhere, rather bringing to attention and reflecting to you something you're holding on to, a desire you might have that, again, may or may not be in alignment. You can start to question your synchronicities. They are not all your guidance. The way the energies are now, our consciousness is becoming mirrored in our external reality like never experienced before. It's getting really wild, and it takes a bit of a discernment on your part to what is actually real for you. There's 2 other major secondary themes that are coming up that might be that this fundamental energy I just described might shed light on more specifically, and that's your relationship with money and your relationship with sex. Depending on where you grew up, who you grew up with, will determine oftentimes how you view money. It's collectively, there's a lot of negative, fearful associations with money, and then there's also, of course, our familial influences and their relationships and beliefs about money. And it's not even so much what have people been saying to you, what have you learned. It's more like, who are the people you surrounded yourself with as a child, and how do they feel about money? How do they behave? How is their relationship to finances? Because many times you'll discover that you have those same feelings and those same attitudes and beliefs within you, whether they told you straight out, this is how I think, or not. And this can really be misaligned with our true core self, and it can also sabotage our efforts to acquire and manifest the abundance, the financial security and abundance and freedom that our soul knows it deserves. This is a time of coming into authentic power with that. It's not so much you can just expect to come into money, that kind of thing. You're going to come into the realization that you have the capability, the talents, the skills, the wisdom, and the courage to create your life, your dream life, beyond your wildest imagination. You can be completely lavishly abundant if that's what you want. But again, going back to these energies, many people think they want lavish abundance, when in fact what they really want is happiness and peace of mind. and they just associate lavish abundance with acquiring those inner states. Those inner states oftentimes make it so you don't even care so much about your surrounding, your house, your environment, because you can be so at peace and in bliss within the current moment that that stuff doesn't matter. But again, you're going to probably be faced with issues coming up around money. Your finances might become like in dire straits right now. But that's going to motivate you and empower you to take action, where you can examine what is working for me right now. What is this job really giving me the life I want? No, you're slowly sliding into more debt. So you're going to get maybe a boost to go forth in a new direction from an empowered and clear state. And that will lead to abundance. And you'll know it. I believe you'll feel good about this. Maybe not initially, maybe not a few days prior to the full moon, but it's going to lead to a much more state of empowerment and knowing that you do have the power to create your dream life right here, right now. And sex, man, if there's two themes, if there's two like worldly themes that are totally dysfunctional on the world in the grand scheme of things within the whole mass consciousness, it'd be sex and money, is it not? So again, as I mentioned before, you might have absorbed opinions and beliefs and just from your own observations of how people are with sex. You know, we're coming out of the Victorian, we're well out of now, we're well out of the Victorian era, but a lot of our parents and their parents were like kind of in that like hush hush sort of way. So there's a lot of guilt and fear and denial about their sexual energies and desires. And now I think what we're experiencing like a society that's like seeing the folly in that but going way off into another direction with like this crazy like the pornography and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not saying any of it's right or wrong. I'm just saying you might start examining your own relationship with sex. And because there's so much external influence that has kind of taught us how to be with our sexual energies and desires, what to think about them, how to feel about them, it might require some examination on your part and just kind of laying out in front of you, like, how do you want to be with this? What do you really think about this? I know they're doing this over here, and your parents did this, and this is what the TV says, and this is what you see on the media, but what do you feel? What feels right for you? What feels right is going to become more obvious. And the way this is going to happen is you're going to discover what doesn't feel right. We're expanding, and this is something I thought about earlier. I wanted to kind of say for the whole where we are right now. This applies to everything I just said. Our consciousness is expanding. And what does that really mean? So that implies that prior to this expansion, we were very closed off. So when issues would come up for us, when beliefs and thoughts, it was very hard to not be completely swallowed in the undertow of these states of being. So it was like we were like literally a slate. We could not see the forest through the trees. But now our consciousness is expanding. And these same energies, these same beliefs, these same attitudes are coming up. But now there's space. There's available consciousness to examine this. And we get to compare these energetic, repetitive pattern states from a broader perspective. And therefore we can connect the dots. We can see it from a wider perspective. And as a result, our misaligned beliefs and energies and attitudes are becoming more obvious. They're more clearly seen as, wow, this just doesn't really make much sense. This doesn't fit with me. Why am I doing this? Why do I think this? Why do I feel this way? There's nothing going on to cause these feelings, so what on earth do I feel this way? And you're going to probably find yourself doing that, having these conversations with yourself regarding these two themes, regarding your goals and aspirations and direction in life as a whole. Now, part 2, I want to kind of go over 3 practical tips for navigating these full moon energies in general. Okay. Number 1 is to carve out some time for a little bit of inner self exploration, because these energies, the moon is going to trigger up a whole bunch of stuff, and you have the opportunity to really truly let go of this stuff now. This year 2016 is vastly different than any year prior. The potential is there to truly, permanently liberate ourselves from this. But if you don't really dedicate any time to discovering the messages of your life experiences and your surfacing emotions and thoughts, then you're going to kind of miss it. It's okay if you miss it. It'll come up again maybe in a future moon or next year. But now it's like you can really unload all your baggage. But it does take, because so much is coming up so fast at one time, it takes some time. You can give yourself some time to just sit there and just like quiet your mind, not so much in a meditative state. I like to get myself almost into a place where I'm like about to fall asleep, and then like I get like talked to by my higher self. I get images, things come up, and it's like I get like answers basically. That's when they say all the answers are within, it's true. Most people don't just allow themselves the time to tune into themselves. So tune in, give yourself time to tune into yourselves and allow your higher self to paint a picture for you clear enough for you to see the situation with clarity, and therefore you can take action and let whatever's coming up go permanently. Number 2 is more of a really kind of a base practical sort of piece of advice. It's like eat more like high vibrational foods, like fruits and vegetables, foods that are still alive, unheated, unprocessed, the raw food diet, that sort of thing. All those kinds of foods are really good for you right now. It allows, because the energies are so intense that heaviness, heavy foods, heavy behaviors are what kind of bump up against these higher, lighter energies trying to come through our body, and it creates like it creates resistance. But if you can kind of like allow your body to be nice and light and free and cleansed by eating healthy, drinking lots of water, eating plenty of high vibrational foods, then these energies will be able to flow through you a little bit more smoothly. Now, with this said, this is going to kick up your issues more intensely, but that's kind of the idea. The idea is to take advantage of these moons, so you don't have to go for the next 10 years suffering through these freaking moons, because you're only you're only like taking advantage of 30% of the potential release possible. Do your best. Take your time. Let this shit go, and you can help facilitate that with like healthier, high vibrational foods. Thirdly is to plan to be flexible. Plan to be fluid. Don't have any expectations or real like solid and firm plans about like the few days, maybe a week prior to the full moon, then the day of, and then I'm not saying don't have plans, you gotta go to work. Obviously, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking more with your mind, more in general. Allow flexibility, allow your intuition to perhaps guide you in a direction that is quite contrary to what you kind of had intended 3 days prior. Allow for that. Because your higher self right now wants to kind of move you from place to place and person to person and circumstance to circumstance, so you can quickly unload all this baggage. And if you just allow yourself to flow, as hard as it is, I know it's difficult, but allow yourself to go with it, then you will be able to quickly unravel this onion, this puzzle of you, and quickly unload all of the things that you have falsely been identifying with as you that are not you. They never have been you. And you can finally discover who you really are.